Morrison, 27 and sunny skies downtown at the Gateway Arch. It's time for sports on a Sunday. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to Jupiter, Florida, the spring training home of the St. Louis Cardinals. We are across the street from Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium, where the buses are leaving for Port St. Lucie. The Cardinals are taking on the Mets this afternoon. It'll get going at noon today with a 12:10 first pitch, so we are 2 hours away from that. We are a little over 1 week away from the Cardinals breaking camp here in Florida and heading north to St. Louis. Who will be on that team? That is a big question still. A lot of decisions to be made. John Mozeliak joins us at 11:30 to talk about that very thing. 11:45, you'll hear from Ollie Marmol, the Cardinals manager, leading in to the Cardinals and the Mets this afternoon. We have so much to discuss. Let's start things off with City.
Now, Y98 presents 90 and 60. A look back at the St. Louis City match against the San Jose Earthquakes.
Klaus from the top of the box. Right foot stolen by Marcinkowski. Oh, he hove it. Extended to his left to the prime João Klaus. Left foot cross. What's Joukidi? Bouncy ball loose. Inside. It's flicked. It's in. Oh, baby. City lead. João Klaus looking to go toward the box. Bursting through. Klaus still with it. Oh, baby. João Klaus. Cramming things home like a hoarder family in a second-hand RV. Ostrak gathers loose. It's in there! In the back of the cage! And on the short tap on the corner, it's done. City wins it tonight over the San Jose Earthquakes. Final score 3-0. A perfect 4-0.
This has been 90 and 60. Next, St. Louis City heads west to face Real Salt Lake this coming Saturday. Pre-game at 8, kick at 8:30 on Y98 St. Louis.
What a time to be alive in St. Louis. This team is 4-0 for the first time ever for an expansion team in Major League Soccer. They are the number one team in MLS. They are the only 4-0 team, and they shut out a team for the first time. Incredible. City beat San Jose 3-0 in the cold at City Park. Amazing moment right now for that group with the Taylor family and Jim Cavanaugh and their wonderful ownership. And now they are 4-0, another sellout, another history-making performance for St. Louis City SC. Lutz Pfannenstiel, the sporting director, is the one who put together the team, who envisioned the style of play. He hired Bradley Carnell to be his coach and brought in the players, and now they're 4-0. This is not a fluke. This is now shifting the attention back to City as a serious threat in the league. They've won 4 games. It's pretty great. We will have Lutz on the way at 11:15, 1 hour from now. He joins us on KMOX. Meanwhile, just down the street at the Dome, the Battlehawks played in front of a big crowd against the DC Defenders. They lost their game 28-20. Gave it a go, a good battle back to try to get into it, but they end up losing that one, unfortunately. But for this team right now, I mean, it is really great to have these two new teams playing in St. Louis, and we haven't even had the Cardinals come into town yet, and they will for the opener on March 30th. The Blues will play, for that matter, downtown tonight. They have a 7 o'clock face-off against Winnipeg. The Blues, Battlehawks, City, all playing in downtown St. Louis, and the Cardinals are about to join them. The Cardinals won yesterday, 8-4 over Detroit. We'll get a spring training report on that in just a moment. Let me start, though, with this as well, and that is college basketball. It is a final now. Mizzou is out of the tournament, losing to Princeton 78-63, and I know that on paper that looks very disappointing, but it was a good year for Mizzou. That said, I'll maintain that this style of offense that Mizzou plays, while it is entertaining, and I know they play a 5-out, and that means that all of them have to be able to handle the ball, shoot threes, crash the boards. It's the last part of that that just isn't working. The Tigers have to be able to get to the free throw line. You can't go through a basketball game and not get to the charity stripe until the second half, which I don't believe they did until the 15-minute mark, 15:34 of the second half. I mean, you've got to get to the line. You can't get into a three-point shooting contest with Princeton. I mean, that is not how you win NCAA tournament games. But I love the way that they play. They are entertaining. They need to continue to adapt and make sure that they're playing at a high level around the basket, both defensively and offensively. You can't let teams slash in and score. You got to have a rim protector, and you can't rely on high percentage, I should say low percentage shots. You got to get some high percentage shots around the basket, and they're just not able to do that, and they get blown out by Princeton. That's a blowout, 78-63. But Mizzou will learn from that, and they've had a very, very good year. Great start for Dennis Gates and that program. The SLU women, they got blown out by Tennessee, 95-50. Rebecca Tillett should not hang her head at all about how this team has been. Well, that's a tough day on the job. You're going to Knoxville and playing a superpower in Tennessee. It's going to happen. It's been a very good year for the A-10 champs, and they will bounce back from that as well. And they've now gotten some attention in the basketball world in St. Louis that this women's program is going to be very strong under Tillett. The Tennessee men beat Duke 65-52, ending the season for the Blue Devils. If that wasn't enough, Kansas saw their season come to an end. Arkansas beat them 72-71. We'll be joined by Arkansas radio analyst, former Mizzou basketball assistant coach, Matt Zimmerman. He'll be with us at 10:30. Can't wait to hear from Z. Houston won. They were struggling a little bit with Auburn, then came back and took care of business. Texas, UCLA, Alabama, San Diego State all won yesterday to advance to the Sweet 16. Cardinal Ritter won the state title as they picked up a win in Springfield, Missouri over Ladue. First time Ladue had made it to the state title game. Cardinal Ritters won 10 out of 10 when they are in the state championship. They win 65-54 over Ladue for the Class 5 title. Now back to baseball, a spring training report from our broadcasters here in South Florida.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. The Cardinals got 3 in the second inning. They added a run in the 5th, another in the 6th, 3 more in the 7th, and beat Detroit 8-4 yesterday in Jupiter, Florida.
Cardinals continue to hit well. 2 home runs for Taylor Motter, who has really shown well in spring training. And Matthew Liberatore started for the Cardinals and went 5 innings. He gave up just 1 run. Very strong. Had a terrific curveball.
What a day for Mason Wynn, the second baseman. Did well at the plate, but his arm accounted for 3 double plays on turns at second base, and he threw a runner out trying to score at the plate.
He's got a big-time arm, was a pitcher in the high school, and certainly could pitch professionally, but he's really showing that he can play the middle of the infield. Terrific game again for Mason Wynn.
And the Cardinals won the game 8-4, Matthew Liberatore over Matthew Boyd. Today, the Cardinals will have Dakota Hudson on the mound at Port St. Lucie. We'll be on the air for the Cardinals and the Mets beginning at high noon.
Looking forward to that, guys. We will have it at the end of this show, Sports on a Sunday Morning, Spring Training Report, sponsored by Norm's Bargain Barn and Wilkie Window and Door from the T.R. Hughes Homes Broadcast Center. Adam Wainwright starts tonight for Team USA against Cuba, semifinals of the World Baseball Classic. It begins at 6 at Lone Depot Park in Miami, where the United States beat Venezuela last night 9-7 on a grand slam by Trey Turner. That was the difference. We'll take a timeout. We'll talk about that and more with Derek Gould, the beat writer for the Post-Dispatch, joins us next to talk baseball from Jupiter. It's Sports on a Sunday Morning, Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday Morning. We're back on KMOX right after this.
It's March, and that can mean only one thing. The madness is here. Not in front of a TV on game day? Listen to every round of NCAA March Madness live from Westwood One, free in the Odyssey app. Catch all the biggest moments of the tournament, no matter where you are. From Cinderellas,
a 15 seed will head to the Elite Eights,
to buzzer beaters,
Atkinson scores. 1.4 seconds left.
to champions.
for the 4th time.
It's time to go dancing. Download the Odyssey app today to get started.
The mountains came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late, JerryKelly.com. 'Cause Jerry Kelly's always open up until 8. That's certified technicians, I've been told. Will help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold. JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at ThrottleNet for all of these years. They are the IT geniuses. George and Mike are the owners. Fantastic guys. They can do all of your IT. They can do a portion of your IT. They have the best Apple support team. Their response time is under 2 minutes. Think about that, under 2 minutes. Something goes sideways with your IT, and they are solving your problem. And they're solving your problem within 2 minutes. Now, let's talk about cybersecurity. Most companies in St. Louis don't have cyber liability insurance. You get hit, you're on the hook, you're probably out of business. With ThrottleNet, if we represent you, we protect you. The first $500,000 that someone hits you for, which isn't going to happen, but if it does, we pay it. $500,000. That's what you're covered for with ThrottleNet. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS for all the information.
With the Wholesale Formula Seminar, discover how to start your own Amazon business.
Hi, Ian Bauer. My first year averaged $45,000 a month in sales. Now I'm at $90,000 a month and hardly working.
Hi, I'm Amy Sherlock. I attended the Wholesale Formula Seminar, and I'm now doing $175,000 in sales per month.
Hey everyone, Ryan and Karen Pottinger here.
Because of the Wholesale Formula, last year we ran our business while we traveled to and lived in 4 different countries.
Hey, I'm Rick Manello. 2 years after attending the Wholesale Formula Seminar, I was able to sell my Amazon business for over $400,000.
Whether you have a business and want to sell more on Amazon, retired, or just need extra money, America's Amazon expert Dylan Frost will show you how for only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. That's right. Discover the easy way to make money on Amazon with Dylan Frost's The Wholesale Formula 2-hour seminar Tuesday, March 28th at 2 p.m. for the greater St. Louis area. Register at thewholesaleformula.com.
As the familiar tune fills the air, joy radiates along with the heat of flickering flames. You make a wish for another year surrounded by the ones you love. With each passing year, the compassionate team at Prairie Cardiovascular will be by your side with heart care that allows you to focus on what matters most. A life well lived. Prairie Cardiovascular, here with you.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back, Sports on a Sunday morning, continuing from Jupiter, Florida. What a weekend this has been sports-wise. We're going to get back into college basketball, soccer, and everything else. But right now we are visiting with the beat writer for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. He is Derek Gould as we are outside the Cardinals clubhouse. Another day in South Florida.
Yeah, the weather's kind of been in reverse here, hasn't it? Usually the closer you get to opening day, you start feeling like it's a microwave all around you. But today it's a little cooler, a little early February type of feel to it. And, of course, we're going to the ice box that is Clover Park or whatever Port St. Lucie's name is now.
That's right. They change it constantly, and it is chilly by Florida standards up in Port St. Lucie. That's for sure. Cardinals taking on the Mets.
It's not chilly by soccer standards, though, as I'm reminded that like it was snow flurries, right, as City went to 4-0.
It was crazy to see that. So you've been experiencing this already. Just your thoughts on what this means for St. Louis. They're 4-0.
It's amazing. It's really incredible. It speaks to the fact probably mostly that they took advantage of the extra time they had, and also that they have a clear style of play that is going to help them close the gap on more established teams, maybe even teams that have, greater talent. Just where they have experience, I think is showing up too, like where they went and got experienced players with a striker and a goaltender who know kind of the league, know the kind of talent level, and can play above that. I think it's remarkable. It's certainly what the city deserves. I mean, a soccer city USA that has an unbeaten, untied team to set a record for a start to an MLS franchise's history, but also the last unbeaten, untied team standing in the MLS season. It's remarkable, and what entertaining style of soccer they're playing.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, they've forced the league now to figure out how to stop them.
Yeah,
I mean, they've turned the tables on MLS. It's amazing. City is 4-0. How would you define this Cardinals team? How good are they? I mean, they're good enough to win the division, and then what is what fans want to know?
They are. Let's take a road game. Okay, so they're on the road. They are very good from the beginning to the end of that game. They are very good in the top of the first inning, and they are quite set for the bottom of the ninth inning. It's how they get between those two things that I think is an open question, particularly how they get through those first 5 innings. This offense is enough to carry a rotation. This bullpen is good enough to shorten games. So it's that squeeze right there in the middle. What does the rotation give them? And how does the pitch clock factor into that? How does the defense help them? The Cardinals are going to have a superb offense by any measure, whoever's in it. They're going to have a superb offense. Wilson Contreras is going to change the look of the lineup and just kind of give a rocket booster that it could send Nolan Arenado hurtling towards an MVP type season. Goldschmidt already has an MVP season. They're going to have on base percentage ahead of those guys. I mean, it could be a very flexible, and I use this word cautiously, dynamic lineup with the pieces that they have. The bullpen, you're going to see probably by the end of the season, 13, 14 different arms kind of cycle through there, all with some kind of ability to be a factor in the major leagues, whether it's the shape of their slider, the effectiveness of the slider, the velocity that they're bringing, the movement on their fastball, those type of things, Tom. They have the ingredients in the bullpen to really have some excellent options and some pitchers that grow into late inning options, not to mention the guys that they already have there, and Ryan Helsley, who I believe has struck out the Grapefruit League this spring. And then you have Gallegos. Zach Thompson is a very fascinating lefty and could quickly pitch his way into high leverage lefty spots as a setup guy. So they have those pieces. The question that you just keep circling back to is, okay, so top of the first, they're going to throw out a really good offense that's going to test the starter right from the beginning. Back end of the game, they're going to have bullpens arms to shorten it. It really comes down to how do the starters provide the innings that are necessary? How do they do that consistently? And how do they not weather the bullpen so that it costs them, every other series?
The last couple of days we've seen great performances out of Matthew Liberatore and Taylor Motter and Mason Wynn. And it's an interesting time for Cardinals fans to process because I'm not sure any of those three make the team. But we know that there will be a chance for them with depth, perhaps with the Cardinals or, who knows, for another club, but with not in Wynn's case, but in Motter's case, perhaps. But there are some big decisions to make here for this team. How do you see that? And let's start with Jordan Walker.
Yeah, Jordan Walker has definitely risen to the opportunity. They wanted to clear a way for him to play his way onto the team, and he has done everything asked of him, particularly in games, and then in the behind and in the backfields during this stretch as well. The accelerated nature of his adaptation to the level was very impressive. Like as he got his timing, as he started seeing major league pitchers, guys who had background, just his adaptation to that and how quickly he took to it, and even how he did it within games, it really stands out, and that speaks well to what the Cardinals were looking for. He's made strides defensively, so they feel like that is something that he can play. One of the questions that they'll have to ask, and this is where maybe like down the road Mason Wynn has an edge that we should talk about, is that, if Jordan Walker struggles offensively, are there still ways for him to be in the lineup? And that's one of the things, like he's not going to be always the DH and have everything on like his offensive production, but can he still be in the lineup, or does the playing time suddenly like shrink and vanish if he struggles offensively? How do they assure that he can play through those struggles and not like have it lead to the fact that he's just going to be on the bench? You think back to like say Colton Wong a little bit, who came up, was playing great, but the offense really struggled, and so to get playing time, he was removed from the team, sent down to Memphis because there was no reason to have him on the bench when he could just stall his development. That's something that the Cardinals have to take into account. With Mason, his defense is such, somewhat like Colby Rasmus in center field. Mason's defense is such, Tom, that he could continue making a difference defensively in the majors while that offense adjustment happens. You know, there are things that Mason does that, you know, quote unquote, to use the cliche, don't slump. You know, speed doesn't slump. The defense doesn't slump. He can make a difference in games that way, so that when he arrives, you can see that like he can play through and still impact games while there's an offensive adjustment, while there's an offensive learning curve. With Jordan, it's going to be more like, okay, how narrow, how small is that learning curve? How short are the slumps? How short are the offensive like glitches, so that he, you know, can continue to be in the majors?
Derek Gould is with us outside the Cardinals clubhouse. Just a couple of things left. Tonight, Adam Wainwright starts against Cuba. Big start for Team USA. Big start for Adam. Big start for the Cardinals, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, what a game, right? I mean, in Miami, Cuba with their national team, but for the first time, there's some major league players on it. Team USA coming off just that rousing win, Trey Turner's grand slam. You know, the Cardinals hitters, Arenado and Goldschmidt, have been all over this tournament for Team USA, as you'd expect. I mean, they're in the middle of everything. They're in the middle of the lineup. Now, Arenado, I know this will come as a complete and utter shock to you, is a defensive wizard. And I didn't realize I'm saying that on St. Louis radio, but he's just changing games with his glove. And, you know, I think, you know, it is a huge game. It's a big game for Adam Wainwright. It's a completely and utterly baffling turn of events that Miles Michaelis might be the best starter for Team USA. I mean, I don't even know if you need the might be. I mean, he's probably the best starter on that team, and he threw 2 innings in a mercy run game. What exactly are they waiting for? What exactly do they need him to do that he's not starting this game? And that's not to take anything away from Wainwright. That's just to say everything about Michaelis. You know, you got your best pitcher, and you know, you are voluntarily putting him out of the equation so that he only throws 2 innings in a game where he was getting his work in. I think he's thrown more pitches in the bullpen in sim games than in the games. And while the Cardinals are like, cool, you know, that's fine, protect them. But I mean, that's not what he went to Team USA for. And it's just very odd.
No, definitely not. He was up here visiting the training staff and hanging out for a day before.
Wearing his Cardinal uniform.
Yeah, you know. Anyway, it's good to see some of the guys coming back. Miles has more work to do, or does he? I don't know. You know, we'll see. Finally, before we go, as the clubhouse opens to us, we're going to talk to some of the guys. But what do you have in the Post-Dispatch as we get close to opening day?
Yeah, a week from today when we're talking, we'll run the special section. So, you know, a season preview, the annual award-winning season preview section. You know, usually every year it gets a nod from the APSE as one of the better preview sections or better special sections out there. So that'll have the position by position breakdown of the Cardinals by Lynn Worthy this year. I'll have a cover story about the changing nature of the National League and where the Cardinals can find an edge in a league where payrolls are mushrooming and, you know, the Mets show no sign of stopping. Atlanta has spent so much to keep its team together. You know, it's a fascinating time in the National League where it's kind of experiencing what the AL East did there for a while. So how do the Cardinals keep up in that? And then also a story on Wilson Contreras that I'm working on that I think is going to be really fascinating. Just some of the things that he just had a long talk with him. Not about, you know, coming to the Cardinals, but about what being a Cardinal offers him. and what he's already learned and why he chased being a Cardinal so much.
Well, always appreciate your work there and your time on KMOX. We very much appreciate it. Thank you.
This has been great, Tom. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
Derek Gould, you too. On Sports on a Sunday morning, don't miss Matt Zimmerman, Arkansas radio analyst, is going to join us next live on KMOX.
Kegs and Eggs, presented by Budweiser, is returning to downtown St. Louis to celebrate baseball's home opener, Thursday, March 30th between 10 and 2 p.m. Tickets on sale now and includes Budweiser and Anheuser-Busch products, specialty cocktails from Maker's Mark, food from Sugar Fire Smokehouse, live music and more. Brought to you by Custom Coatings STL, Dirt Cheap and Budweiser. Kegs and Eggs is back. Full details on the event page at KMOX.com. KMOX Enter Service Weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
/rules. Schedule your free tree inspection from Gamma Tree Experts now. I'm Tim Gamma. Our certified arborist and horticulturist are ready to meet you in preparation of the coming season. Winter is always hard on a lot of trees here in St. Louis. If you have a tree that you're really concerned about, let us come take a look at it for free. I'm Tim Gamma. Give me a call at 725-6159. That's 314-725-6159. Your trees deserve the best care from Gamma Tree Experts.
Meet me at the Muni in Forest Park.
The Muni's premiere season, bursting with comedies, romance, and magic, begins June 12th with the Muni premiere of Beautiful, the Carole King musical. The epic summer continues with Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Chess, West Side Story, Little Shop of Horrors, Rent, and Sister Act. See all 7 Broadway hits and save at Muni.org.
Meet me at the Muni in Forest Park.
Winter takes its toll on your garage door. Maybe the bolts are loose, or you need new weather stripping to keep out the hot and cold air. Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for your annual garage door tune-up. It's just $89.95 for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to Jupiter, Florida. Our thanks to Derek Gould for joining us as he heads up to Port St. Lucie for the Cardinals and the Mets today. The Cardinals and Mets will play at noon with a 12:10 first pitch. That's about the time that basketball gets back underway today. Sweet 16 will be decided by the end of today, and one team that is in and heading to Vegas is Arkansas. The Razorbacks with a win over Kansas. They knock out the champs 72-71, and the radio analyst is a great friend of ours, and that is Matt Zimmerman, the former assistant coach at the University of Missouri. He's been with Arkansas for quite a while now. How are you, Z?
Tom, doing great. Feeling good. Walked in the house last night about 12:15 a.m., and, man, we were all on cloud nine and feeling good, but with Coach Musselman, it's 3 years in a row now at Arkansas. So we're hoping this time maybe we can go win this thing.
3 years in a row, he's gone to the Sweet 16. He is some coach and some character. He jumped up on your table just to the right next to you, took his shirt off, started waving his shirt around, called the Hogs. I mean, he's going nuts. I was listening to your broadcast. I told you that the last 2 games, actually. I heard your one against Illinois and the win over Kansas. And both times he grabbed the headset and shouted a little message to the fans, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what he does. Normal games, the rest of the season, every game, 15, 20 minutes after the game, after he's met with the team, he'll come out and do his radio. And then he did the same in the conference tournament. But in the NCAA tournament, there's just a lot more media requirements, so we always have an assistant. So if we win, we like him to come over there. Now, we get him for 5 to 10 minutes post game, but now we get him after wins. We usually get him 5 to 10 seconds, but it's good. He comes in and yells and puts the headset on for a second. It's a lot of fun. Our folks love it. And we get an assistant coach that comes and breaks the game down for us, 10 or 15, 20 minutes later. So it's a good broadcast, and we have a lot of fun with it. But Coach Muss, he jumped on that table and I knew he was going to pull his shirt off because that's what he does, Tom. And he's done it each of the last 3 years. He did it at Nevada. And, he was a journeyman coach, a longtime NBA guy, coached at 2 NBA jobs, Sacramento and Golden State. Didn't work out for him in the NBA. And he was in the G League. He was in the CBA at one time. He's been all over different levels of pro basketball. But college basketball has been his niche, and he's really done a very, very, very good job at Arkansas. And it's been fun to be a part of that.
Yeah, you and I met back when you were on the staff at Missouri and Mike Anderson was the coach. You followed Anderson to Arkansas, but you remained at Arkansas as the radio analyst, and I know you also help out on the football side. What has been the difference with Muss and actually just looking at this year in particular, a year of ups and downs, expectations were raised as always for Arkansas, but now they're playing their best ball right now. Why is that?
I just think it's a basketball team that is so talented. Like every time we played this year, we got 13 losses. That was surprising. We were a team that we thought would win the SEC. A lot of people thought we would, or the conference tournament, at least something. And, we finished 10th, Tom, 10th in the SEC. And it was very, very surprising. And we just couldn't ever gel. And we had a couple injuries, and we have a very talented freshman, Nick Smith. He missed 6 games, came back, played 5, and then missed like another 10 or 12. He's missed 19 games total. He's back now. He didn't score yesterday. Hadn't been playing as well, but he's had some games. He's been very good. And we got 2 other tremendous young freshmen that are McDonald's All-Americans that are great. And we just kind of not gelled as a team throughout this season. We lost a lot of close games, but we also lost close games to people like Alabama and Kentucky, and there was some pretty good opponents that we lost to. But it's just been rolling now, and we played better in the conference tournament. We had to start on Thursday because we were a 10 seed. We beat Auburn pretty good. Well, it was actually a pretty close game. We had a big lead. They came back. And then we lost A&M, second time in 2 years that we lost A&M in a conference tournament. That set us back a minute, but it gave them some more practice time. They got back. They've healed up. They're healthy as can be, and we're rolling right now. And every team we play, Tom, we're the more athletic team. We're bigger usually, and we're more athletic. We're more athletic than Kentucky, Kansas, Tennessee. It's incredible how much length, size, and athletic ability this team has. And we've got an outstanding junior that's been around a long time. And I think he has taken over this team's leadership, Devontae Davis. He's from the Little Rock area, and he's been very good in March. And he's just one of those guys that he can put the team on his back. And yesterday we're down, 12 points, and he just starts scoring like crazy. And with Nick Smith struggling, he just got hot. Ricky Council, who played at Wichita State for a couple of years, he got hot. And then it's just everything started steamrolling for us. And Kansas in the second half really couldn't get any good looks. They really struggled in their offense. And it was a fun win. And of course, Thursday we had Illinois, and we were just much more athletic than they were, just flying around quicker than them, faster than them, and jumped higher than them, and beat Illinois by 10. So we relied a lot on athletic ability. Sometimes in our league, it's just pure athletic ability hadn't been able to get it done. But now these guys are rolling, and they got a lot of talent. They also have good basketball skill, but it hadn't come together. And now it's finally come together, and it's fun.
I agree with you. You were more athletic than Illinois for sure. And surprisingly, better than Kansas, as good as they are. And they've dealt with some health issues with Bill Self on the coaching side. You were just the better team, more athletic. I completely agree. And by the way, you'll be the more athletic team in the next game, because no matter who wins that, in St. Mary's, Randy Bennett, who coached years ago as an assistant at SLU, I know how prepared he'll be if he wins it. UConn's a great team, probably underseeded at 4. You got a slight advantage there because they don't play till tonight. But bottom line is you're more athletic than those two.
Oh, absolutely. People say, who would you rather play since yesterday's game, and it doesn't matter at this point. I think that you're right. We're going to be more athletic. We're going to be more bouncy. We're going to be able to jump higher than either one of those teams, and they're both good. They've both had good years. St. Mary's in the he likes to play man-to-man mostly, but he'll throw a little zone. Zone's bothered us some. But, Tom, I don't think the coaches have gone back and watched a lot of that film because people hadn't been zoning us. And that was some of our losses, that people zoned us. Like LSU. We lost at LSU. They were the worst team in our league this year. And we lost at LSU. And they did a lot of zone and bothered us. But I tell you what, the next round, it'll be tough because it's the NCAA tournament and anything can happen. We'll be in Las Vegas. But you got to like that, hey, you wake up here in the middle of this tournament and you're going to Sweet 16 and you're going to play UConn or St. Mary's. And both of them are good. Neither one of them are, to me, they're not a Power 5. Big East is good. But I think the competition we faced in our league game after game has really prepared us. I don't think those other teams have gotten that. And I don't think they have that kind of competition. And that's helped us.
Yeah, it's a great feeling, no doubt about it. My alma mater, Indiana, plays tonight against Miami. Of course, I'm antsy. I'm trying not to think about it, but it's still it's a long way away. But I'm looking forward to that tonight. I can't wait. I'll have some popcorn ready to go to watch that one. I wanted to ask you about Missouri. You saw Missouri all throughout this year, and Dennis Gates' first year. They lose to Princeton yesterday, but it probably shouldn't diminish the first year that Gates had with his program. Just how do you evaluate Mizzou?
No, and Dave Bartlett, his son Will Bartlett worked for us. He has a couple degrees from Mizzou, and I know Dave's listening right now, and they listen to you every Sunday. But they're proud Mizzou folks, and I know that all the Mizzou folks were proud of the season they had. Tom, it got to be where after they beat Tennessee in the SEC tournament, I was like, I'm worried about our 31 wins, Final Eight team in 2009. It's the most in school history, and I'm proud of that at Missouri. And I was like, I'm getting worried that this record's going to fall. These guys keep winning, and they were making all these shots, behind in games and hitting buzzer shots to win the game. We split with them. We beat them here in Fayetteville pretty decent, and then we had a dog fight there. We're up 10 with about 4.5 to play in Columbia, and they came back and beat us. And they played with a sense of urgency. I really like their team, but I thought they did a great job. And to get the 4 seed, to finish 4th in the SEC, I thought that was a huge a success for Coach Gates and for their staff. Dickie Nutt's a friend of mine. He's an old Arkansas guy. And they were impressive what they did. I know they'll be sick about losing to Princeton because if you have a chance to go to the Sweet 16 and they played so well against a good Utah State team that you just got to find a way to get that game. And Princeton, man, they were just too good from the parts I saw. And I read several articles about it last night when I got home and was catching up on everything. But I know that'll be a tough loss for them. But they had a really, really good season. They should be proud of that. I'm glad they didn't win 31 games, though.
That's right. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you can do. One more quick thing. Tennessee authored one of the great wins of the tournament thus far, beating Duke, who came in hot. They beat Duke by 13. I wanted to get your thoughts on Tennessee and then also Kentucky playing a little bit later against K-State.
Yeah, both those teams are really good, and both of them are capable of being in the Final Four. Tennessee, to me, was the most one of the teams that you really felt like would go deep because of they have good balance. They've got some good big men. They're athletic as well. They're strong. But they play the best defense in our conference. And we didn't play them. We have 18 league games. We didn't play them until the 17th game of the season. We only played them once this year, and it was in Knoxville, and they blew us out. And 2 minutes into that game, Zakai Ziegler's going on the baseline. He blows everything out of his knees, yelling and screaming. The 20,000 people in their place was dead quiet. You hated it for the young man. And at that point, you had to feel like this is really going to change their season because you can't lose. He's either, you can argue he's their best player or their second best player. And when you lose Ziegler out like that, you just can't recover that late into the season with your point guard. But, they end up smacking us in that game. And I thought that said a little bit about them and the way they could still fight. And then, they lost in the conference tournament. They won a game, and then they lost to Missouri. So I was like everybody else. It was like, I don't know what they can do in the NCAA tournament without Ziegler. And those guys stepped up big time yesterday. Their defense did it again. They're dangerous. Kentucky, they just they're not as good as the Kentucky teams of the past, but they're very talented. And Oscar is a dominant force inside. He doesn't have as many games where he's scoring 25 like he did last year when he was the National Player of the Year. He's having more games where he has 15 and 15 or 19 and 17, but he still is a rebounding machine, and I think he's very dialed in and focused. I like Jacob Toppin for them, who's a good player, and who you guys saw a bunch, his brother, when he was at Dayton in the conference.
Sure.
And, they got some other pieces. They're not as athletic as they've been. They don't have a whole lot of depth, and they at times really struggle to shoot the ball. But Reeves is a really good player for them. I mean, he was one of the SEC Sixth Man of the Year. He tied for that, and he's a guy that can get going shooting. Otherwise, they can struggle to shoot the basketball. It'll be interesting to see how far Coach Cal can get Kentucky this year. That'd be a really good game with K-State.
Yeah, I think so too. A lot of Kentucky fans in our Cardinal fan base, as you know, but I'll tell you what, Arkansas is clearly Cardinals country. Yeah, they're everywhere.
They are everywhere.
Arkansas is clearly Cardinals country, and we are happy for you, really happy for you that you've gotten this far, and all the best to you. We'll be watching. I know that.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate you having me on, and go Hogs.
Absolutely. There he is, Matt Zimmerman, the assistant coach, formerly at Missouri, now the radio analyst for Arkansas, and a good listen. If you get a chance, give them a listen. I love doing that. I love listening to the radio broadcast throughout this tournament, and I did that with Arkansas yesterday, a win over Kansas. They knock them out of the tournament. We're going to take a quick timeout. We're in Jupiter, Florida, the spring training home of the St. Louis Cardinals, and when we come back, a man who has about 3.2 million Twitter followers and followers for what he does around the world. And that's Chris Jericho, professional wrestler, coming to St. Louis in March on the 29th to Chaifetz Arena. We'll tell you what he's going to be doing in town. That is next. Don't forget, Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director for City, at 11:15. John Mozeliak at 11:30. Ollie Marmol, Cardinals manager, at 11:45, as we take you into Cardinal baseball at noon today. Back in a moment. Sports on a Sunday morning from Jupiter on KMOX.
The real estate market continues making headlines for both buyers and sellers. The big dilemma for sellers like you is finding the right buyer willing to pay the right price, right? This is Debbie Monterey. And while most agents will make big promises, Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty will actually present you with an upfront written guarantee. It states that Gloria will sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she will buy it guaranteed in writing. Does your agent compare to that? Gloria is able to make this bold offer because Gloria already has the buyers in her exclusive buyers in waiting program. So before you list your home, do your research and get to know Gloria Liu like I have. Gloria has solutions and options for every seller because she knows that every situation is different. Call her today and ask about Gloria's no obligation cash offer program or her guaranteed sold program. 314-325-6888 or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Broadcasting from the Underline Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. YMCA camp counselors get to laugh, play, and lead youth in meaningful camp experiences. Be outside. Be in charge of the fun. That's a summer job with benefits. Hiring for day camp, Y Camp Lakewood overnight camp, and lifeguards. Visit gwrymca.org.
What a great meeting. I loved everything he said. I think we've found our new financial advisor.
I hated him.
What? Why?
He never even looked at me.
It's a story that's been repeated over and over in the financial industry. And it's the reason Deanna Orff at the All Financial Group is so passionate to change it. She's hosting an exclusive women's event called Women in Wealth. It's an open forum for you to learn more about markets, investing, and planning for retirement, and a setting where you can ask questions. It's a fact that 90% of women will at some point be solely responsible for their finances. This could be a great first step.
Join us for the exclusive Women in Wealth event, Thursday, March 30th. It is free to attend, but you do need to make a reservation. Call 636-230-8824 or visit yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory services are offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor and an affiliate of Brookstone Capital Management, LLC. BWA and All Financial Group, LLC are independent of each other. Stephen All, Missouri license number 803-9738.
Carol Daniel for the Doctor's Doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Take a look around you, your wife, or the highway right in front of you. We use our eyes to take in the world around us, but if you have a disease of the eye like glaucoma or itchy eye, or like my husband, you suffer from dry eye, seeing the world around you is a little more difficult. dry eye can impact your vision at night. It can cause burning of the eye. Call Ophthalmology Associates at 314-966-5000 to set up your appointment today. I was so glad to go see the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates at 12990 Manchester Road. What a friendly staff and a thorough exam by Dr. Greg Birdie. There's a reason they're called the doctors because they've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any other practice. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer, experts in the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. Ophthalmology Associates. Call 314-966-5000 or learn more online at youridoc.com.
Welcome back to the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Coming to you from Cardinal Spring Training in Jupiter, Florida. Welcome back to the show. We are joined on the line by someone who will be rolling back into St. Louis on March 29th. AEW All Elite Wrestling is returning to St. Louis at Chaifetz Arena on March 29th, and one of the best professional wrestlers in history will be there and is with us on the line now, and that is Chris Jericho. Chris, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. Always great to be coming back to St. Louis, where I actually used to live when I was 5 years old, because my dad used to play for the St. Louis Blues. So it's always great to come back to St. Louis.
Absolutely. Ted Irvine, your dad played for the Blues in the mid-'70s. He was playing for the New York Rangers before that, I know, and you actually are from Winnipeg, aren't you?
I am from Winnipeg. Absolutely, yeah. So there's been a lot of great AEW shows over the years. Obviously, we're just in Winnipeg last week, which is amazing. But St. Louis is always a great wrestling town and a great AEW town. So we're stoked to be coming back.
I bet. It's great to have you. Hulk Hogan once told me that this was the place when he was breaking into wrestling. When they said, "You're coming to St. Louis," he knew that he was going to the big time. That this, back in the day, professional wrestling revolved around St. Louis, that we are one of the birthplaces of pro wrestling in the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. Always been a great, like I said, great wrestling town, great town for me. I won a world championship in St. Louis probably 10 years ago or so. So it's a special city for me for many reasons.
How do you continue to be successful? How do you reinvent yourself and keep yourself in such great shape?
Well, I mean, I think you just nailed it, the reinvention, constantly changing things up, keeping yourself fresh as a character, as a performer. It's one of the reasons why I've had the longevity that I've had. You know, I've always kind of drew inspiration from musicians like David Bowie, for example, who always changed his character and always changed kind of his look, but still remained Bowie at his heart. And I've done the same with Chris Jericho, where you could go to a Halloween party dressed as Chris Jericho, and there'd be a dozen different looks at that party, and that's kind of something I've worked hard on. And I do see that every year too. When Halloween comes around, people dress up as Jericho, Y2J, they dress up as the Painmaker, they dress up as Le Champion. So I think that keeps people engaged in what I'm doing, and like I said, it keeps things fresh. I never want to be like a nostalgia act or anything along those lines.
Yeah, you're really the rock star of pro wrestling. In fact, you literally are a rock star. Back in '99, you became the lead vocalist of a heavy metal band, Fozzy. You have been on stage. So how has that helped you also? And do you get, not nervous, but do you feel those nerves, and do you get anxious? Do all of those things ever go away when you perform?
I don't think so. I mean, that's part of the brilliance of playing in front of a live audience, right? Like, it always keeps you on your toes. You always get that instant feedback, whether it's on a rock and roll stage or whether it's in a wrestling ring. And there's electricity to it. And they're very similar forms of entertainment. They're both very high energy and very intense and very much contingent on what kind of a reaction the fans give you. So, you know, and you take that into play, and that kind of helps you do your show. It helps you do the match, helps me do the Fozzy gig. You know, you want to make sure that people are engaged at all times and constantly being entertained. And sometimes you have to switch what you're doing if they're not reacting the way you want them to. So when you've been doing this as long as I have, you kind of have a real affinity in being able to control an audience and control a crowd. And I think that's one of the reasons why, like you said, why I've been able to kind of stay at a high level over all these years. You know how to work the crowd, as we say, and it's an art that you learn over time. It's not something you get right away, but the more experience you get, the more you understand how the tricks of the trade, so to speak.
Last thing here, as for the event itself, Chaifetz Arena is a great venue. It's a basketball arena, but I've seen great concerts there, and All Elite Wrestling is an event, isn't it? How do you describe what people will see?
I mean, it's kind of a modern day Shakespearean morality play. You know what I mean? Like if Shakespeare was alive today, he'd be writing wrestling shows. There's a little bit of everything, like you mentioned. I mean, if you were looking for a sports event, you got it. If you're looking for a rock and roll show, you got it. If you're looking for drama or a play, you got that as well. So it really does give something for everybody. And that's one thing I love about pro wrestling is it could be many different things. You could have a great match, but you can also have a song and dance if you want. You can have a birthday party or a bar mitzvah like we had last week. You can have, people falling in love, people falling out of love. It really does have something for everybody, and especially with AEW, with all the different styles of wrestling that we have as well. I think it's one of the reasons why it's become almost a real party to go to an AEW show. And when people see that on TV and see, the fans having the fun that they have, and St. Louis knows this, they want to be a part of it and want to come to the show as well. So, like I said, not only is St. Louis a great wrestling town, AEW is it's a great party to come check out and come hang out with us. And it's going to be a lot of fun when we come to town for Dynamite.
We're 10 days away, March 29th at Chaifetz Arena. Chris Jericho, thank you so much for joining us on KMOX today. We appreciate it.
We'll see you on the 29th. We're excited. I might take
awesome.
a visit
Love
back
it.
to Chesterfield.
Yeah, do it. I love that. We're also just, it's going to be the night before the home opener at Busch Stadium. There'll be a lot of people in town. That is fun. We'll be back after the news.
As always.
Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Did you know that you can list your home with a full-service real estate brokerage for only 4%? Straight Realty is licensed in Missouri, and we would love to talk to you about a winning strategy to get your home sold while saving you money. Call us at 314-441-4444, 314-441-ALL-4s. Call us at 314-441-4444. Why pay more than $4?
It is not officially spring, but I know you're thinking about it. This is Debbie Monterey, and start planning ahead now for spring, summer, fall, year-round entertainment by calling Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is celebrating its 55th year in the business, and they have a string of happy customers, thousands of happy customers like me, who understand that Chesterfield Fence and Deck does only quality work that they stand behind, and that's how you stay in business for 55 years. So whether you're looking for a fence or a deck, maybe you want a custom sunroom or a screen room or a pergola, whatever it is in your outdoor space, Chesterfield Fence and Deck can help. And if you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll take 20% off your next outdoor project. Stop by Chesterfield Fence and Deck in the Chesterfield Valley, or they'll come to you. Just go to chesterfieldfence.com for all the information. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best.
Every homeowner needs a good electrician, and Reinhold Electric is that electrician. If you're having power outages during spring storms, call on Reinhold Electric and talk to them about an inline generator. If you're selling a home, they do electrical inspections. And check this out. Insurance companies more and more are changing policies to not include aluminum wiring. So if your home or condo has that and you need help with aluminum wiring, call on Reinhold Electric. 314-631-1158, online at ReinholdElectric.com. Tell them Bo sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Texting, phone calls, TikTok, Instagram. It's a world of constant distraction. And when the distraction happens behind the wheel of a car, tragedies occur. People are injured, lives destroyed, families torn apart. We can't undo what happened, but we can help you recover. I'm Jim Onder at Onder Law. We're not only on your side, we're by your side.
Call Onder Law Personal Injury Lawyers at 314 or 618 $9 That's 9 all zeros.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet.
March means spring cleaning, so clean out your old harsh cleaning products and replace them with products that are green certified. Better yet, make your own cleaning products using items like baking soda and vinegar. Also, get rid of hazardous materials such as paints, motor oil, and pharmaceuticals at proper disposal locations to keep them out of the water supply. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
KMOX, KEZK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington. The House Financial Services Committee will investigate the failures of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank. Republican Patrick McHenry will lead that probe.
What I need to get to the bottom of investigatively in Congress is the who, what, when, where, why, and how of these bank failures.
McHenry was on CBS's Face the Nation. Russian President Putin is now officially a wanted man in more than 120 countries after the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant. That didn't stop him from traveling outside Russia. Here's CBS's Ramy Inocencio.
Vladimir Putin took his closest known trip to the war's front line, visiting the Russian-occupied Ukrainian port city of Mariupol. Official video showed Mr. Putin driving a car through the city's streets at night, talking to people and learning how the city is being rebuilt. Ukraine says more than 20,000 people were killed here. The UN says more than 90% of Mariupol's buildings were damaged or destroyed.
Republicans are launching their own January 6th investigation.
They're pledging to review both sides and, quote, show what really happened on January 6th. Democrats call the effort obscene and political theater. Georgia Republican Representative Barry Loudermilk will chair the committee. He told CBS News his panel would consider seeking an interview with former Speaker Nancy Pelosi as part of its work. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
Former President Trump says he expects to be arrested on Tuesday for hush money payments to porn star Stormy Daniels. Former Vice President Mike Pence responded on ABC.
Indicting a former president of the United States at a time when there's a crime wave in New York City, that the fact that the Manhattan DA thinks that indicting President Trump is his top priority, I think, just tells you everything you need to know about the radical left.
Thousands of people took to the streets across France again last night to protest new pension rules.
There were violent clashes with police on the sidelines of several demonstrations and scores of people arrested last night. In Paris, police used a water cannon to clear the Place de la Concorde. The city's police chief has banned gatherings there. Angry protesters set fire to garbage piling up across the city as a strike by trash collectors continues. Elaine Cobb, CBS News, Paris.
15-seat Princeton University upsets the 7th-seeded University of Missouri, 78-63 in the Battle of the Tigers yesterday in the NCAA tournament. Coach Mitch Henderson spoke to reporters.
This is a very, very confident group. We are so thrilled to be going to the Sweet 16. It is an absolute pleasure being around these guys. They just grit their teeth and they do it.
This is CBS News.
Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance coverage. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11:03, we have sunny skies and 28 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. Our top story this hour: those who bundled up and braved the below-freezing wind chill last night at City Park were rewarded by witnessing history.
Second chance by Vasilev, stopped as well. Ostrak gathers loose. It's in there! And that's in the back of the cage!
Joey Zanaboni and Dale Shilley with the call on our sister station Y98. City SC set an MLS record by beating San Jose 3-0 and going unbeaten over their first 4 games of the franchise's existence. They're the first expansion team to do that, and they are the only MLS team that's 4-0. More coverage in the second hour of Sports on Sunday. Former President Donald Trump is calling on supporters to protest if he's arrested Tuesday as part of a hush money investigation in New York. KMOX's Hancock and Kelly have some thoughts.
Republican political strategist John Hancock says this could be a real mistake if the Manhattan prosecutor announces an indictment before anything's done about the Georgia investigations.
This one could tank all of those others because it does appear to be political to me. And I think it's actually going to strengthen Trump politically with the GOP base.
Democratic strategist Michael Kelly joined in with some perspective during Total Information AM Sunday.
The Republican Party for my entire life has always been the party to say that, law and order, and we need to respect the law.
Now they're suggesting that we look the other way.
Brad Choate, KMOX News.
At the state committee meeting in Jeff City yesterday, the Missouri Democratic Party elected Russ Carnahan as its next chairman. Carnahan is the son of former Governor Mel Carnahan. He replaces St. Louis Recorder of Deeds Michael Butler. He immediately takes over the position. Funeral services are this afternoon in Herman for the 34-year-old police officer killed in the line of duty 1 week ago. Visitation is underway now at Owensville High School for Sergeant Mason Griffith. The funeral follows after 2 o'clock at Emmanuel Lutheran Cemetery in Rosebud. Griffith was at Casey's convenience store with fellow officer Adam Sullentrup, who was critically injured and remains hospitalized. The suspect, 35-year-old Kenneth Lee Simpson, faces first-degree murder charges. Griffith leaves behind his wife and 2 children. Your weather forecast, temperatures around 42 this afternoon. Then we're actually warming up as spring officially begins. 57 for a high tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine. We could by Wednesday see 65. Right now it is 28 in St. Peter's. Florissant has 30 degrees. We're 28 downtown at the Gateway Arch. I'm Scott Jagow, KMOX News.
This is the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Now, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back to the show. We are here in Jupiter, Florida. The Cardinals are in Port St. Lucie today, taking on the Mets. We'll have that for you at the top of the hour at noon with a 12:10 first pitch. John Rooney, Ricky Horton, Mike Claiborne, Jim Jackson have done a terrific job down here as the radio broadcast team, and they will have the broadcast for you today. Claibs will be with me tomorrow in the booth here in Jupiter as we will take on the broadcast on the stream, the Cardinals.com stream. We've got a lot of great feedback out of that broadcast being available to a lot of people on the MLB at Bat app, Cardinals.com. I don't think anyone's really had a trouble finding that. Just go to Cardinals.com or the MLB app. You can absolutely find that. I think it's pretty widely available now, and it's really where a lot of broadcasts are going here. People are consuming us right now on stream. You know, you can tell your Alexa or your smart speaker to play KMOX, and it'll just start playing us. That's how actually I consume KMOX that way a lot now in my car radio. And I'm still old school. I like listening on 1120, but we're on FM. We're on 98.7 FM if you're in the Central Corridor, especially throughout the St. Louis area. But those broadcasts on the stream, I think, have been fun. So Claibs and I will have those 3 in a row. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We got the Marlins here Monday. We got the Nationals here Tuesday. Got the Marlins as a road game again on Wednesday. And then the Yankees will be here in Jupiter on Thursday. That game will be on the radio. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we go on radio again with Washington on the road, Mets on the road. Sunday at Houston, at West Palm Beach, Florida. And then the Cardinals, this one won't be on the radio, but you'll be able to follow it on the app as the Cardinals go to Sarasota to play the Orioles, and then that's it. The Cardinals will be out of here on Monday the 27th, back to St. Louis as they get ready for their game against the Blue Jays on the 30th. So we're down to about a week left of games as spring training starts to wrap up and things get real. John Mozeliak will be with us at 11:30 to discuss some of the roster decisions that they are breaking down. Lutz Pfannenstiel is just moments away. The sporting director for St. Louis City SC joins us every Sunday morning at 11:15. Can't wait to talk to him about what took place last night at City Park. History made. City wins another one. They're 4-0, first expansion team to ever do that. They're also the only team in MLS to be 4-0. We'll talk to Lutz about all of that. The NCAA tournament is about to start back up. They will have games today galore. So you'll start here in just a few moments with Pitt and Xavier. Oh, man, that is a nasty city rivalry there. You've got Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Two fan bases, Pittsburgh and Xavier, very good basketball fan bases. Should be a really good one. I think Xavier is going to win the game, but who knows? It's on CBS in Greensboro, North Carolina. The second game of the day today is Kentucky and Kansas State. I think that's anybody's game. Now, interestingly, Vegas has Kentucky as the favorite today by 2.5. That line has moved. It opened at 1.5. It got as high as 3, and it's back to 2.5. Kentucky, the favorite to beat the higher seed Kansas State. Kentucky's a 6. K-State's a 3. I don't know about all that. I've got K-State winning that game. K-State, I don't trust Kentucky. I think they're good. As we talked to Matt Zimmerman last hour, they're not as good as the past Kentucky teams, but they are capable. And Oscar Tshiebwe inside is somebody you have to account for. I don't know. I think K-State's the more complete team. And quite honestly, I think the Big 12 was a better conference this year. But it's been good success so far for the SEC. I mean, Tennessee beat Duke, beat them good too by 13. Alabama is the best team in the country. They were able to roll past their opponent yesterday, Maryland. I mean, they stomped them by 22 points. Auburn had a good look yesterday for a while, and then Houston's just the better team, and they beat them 81-64. When I mentioned Arkansas, I mean, the SEC, that's a signature win for the SEC, beating the number 1 seed, Kansas, 72-71, so the defending national champs are out. Tennessee, Arkansas, victorious yesterday along with Alabama, so who knows? Maybe this is the day for Kentucky, but I've got K-State winning this game. The next game of the day following that will be at 4:15. It'll be Michigan State and Marquette. I have Marquette going all the way. I think Marquette is going to win the national championship. They're 29-6. And so far, this is looking good for me coming out of that region because the number 1 seed, Purdue, is out. As you know by now, Fairleigh Dickinson beat them. Duke was probably the hottest team in the East going in. They're out. So Tennessee or either FDU or FAU are going to advance to the Elite 8. I like Marquette over everybody. Kentucky, K-State, Michigan State today. Now, Vegas has that game, the Marquette-Michigan State game, pretty tight. Marquette a 3-point favorite. I don't know. I think Marquette is really good. I mean, maybe I'm missing something, but Marquette to me is really good. They don't really have a hole. I mean, they're good in the post, outstanding guard play, very good team defense under Coach Shaka Smart. I picked them to win the national championship, so of course I think they're good. At 5:10, St. Mary's in Connecticut. We talked about that with Matt Zimmerman last hour. I think that game could go either way, although UConn to me is the better team and have been one of the best teams in the country all year, and I think underseeded at 4. But St. Mary's is just a thorn in the side. I mean, Randy Bennett always has his team playing well this time of year. They're 27-7 for a reason. Very good defensive team. Should be a fascinating matchup there. 6:10, Creighton and Baylor. This is a pick 'em according to Vegas. I don't disagree. I think Creighton is really good, and I think we'll win that game today. The 6:45 game is FDU and Florida Atlantic. What a fun win for the 16 seed FDU. And now, come on. I mean, Vegas has Florida Atlantic as a 15.5-point favorite today against FDU. Did they watch the Purdue game? Man, really? I like FDU and the points there. Don't you? I don't know. I mean, FAU, Florida Atlantic was good this year, but really, I mean, FDU, if they play anywhere close to what they did against Purdue, and they've had a day to rest, I mean, I got to think they can get out and play today. Who knows? And then you have TCU Gonzaga, a couple heavyweights in the nightcap today at 8:40. I've got Gonzaga going to the national championship game and playing Marquette and losing, and I'm liking that pick also because the number 1 seed in that region, the West, Kansas, is out. UCLA is awfully good, but they've had to deal with some injuries, and Gonzaga would get a rematch with them. They got to get past TCU first. It'll be very interesting once they get to Vegas, but if Gonzaga gets to Vegas, look out. I think they could get to the Final Four. And then my alma mater, they tip off at 7:40. It's Indiana, Miami. I just, I love this time of year, and I dread the wait time until I have to see my beloved Hoosiers play against Miami. It's going to be a heck of a game. I did not like having to deal with Drake. So I'm a little bit relieved that I don't have to watch them play the Missouri Valley Conference champion. I think really for Indiana, it comes down to great guard play tonight. You know what you're going to get in Trace Jackson Davis. He is the best player still remaining in this tournament and probably was the best player in the country. I know Zach Edey is likely to win that National Player of the Year, but the Player of the Year was Trace Jackson Davis. He's doing things statistically that no one else is doing. He is the first player in tournament history to have 20-plus points, 5 assists, and 5 blocks in the same game since they started keeping those block stats in 1986. That is incredible. And he had 11 rebounds in the game. I know what he's going to do. It's going to come down to the Indiana guards being better than Miami's guards, and that is, if any Indiana fan knows, that is a big question mark, is if the guards will show up or not. If they do, Indiana wins, and they move on to play Houston. If not, well, then I'm crushed, and my season comes to an end. That's college basketball for you today. It'll be fun, no doubt about it. When we come back, we talk soccer. Lutz Pfannenstiel, St. Louis City SC, does it again. They make history, and they are making waves in Major League Soccer. It's next. Sports on a Sunday morning coming to you from the Cardinals spring training home, Jupiter, Florida. Back after this.
2 ways to listen to KMOX in your car. 98.7 in the city, 11:20 a.m. further out. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
A wish can be the spark that helps children fighting critical illnesses believe that anything is possible. A wish can also transform the lives of children, their families, volunteers, supporters, and entire communities. You too can experience the profound impact of a wish by joining the Make-A-Wish Foundation for the Walk for Wishes, presented by Centene and Spectrum on April 8th in Forest Park. Register today at walkforwishesstl.com. Then join us as we walk so local children can receive the gift of a wish.
With the Wholesale Formula Seminar, discover how to start your own Amazon business.
Hey, Emric Manello. 2 years after attending the Wholesale Formula Seminar, I was able to sell my Amazon business for over $400,000.
Hi, I'm Amy Sherla. I attended the Wholesale Formula Seminar to learn how to work from home while raising my son. Today, I do $175,000 in sales per month.
Hi, Ian Bauer. My first year averaged $45,000 a month in sales. Now I'm at $90,000 a month and hardly working.
Whether you have a business and want to sell more on Amazon, retired, or just need extra money, America's Amazon expert, Dylan Frost, will show you how. Only $49.99 guaranteed or your money back. That's right. Discover the easy way to make money on Amazon with Dylan Frost's The Wholesale Formula 2-hour seminar, Tuesday, March 28th at 2 p.m. for the greater St. Louis area. Register at thewholesaleformula.com.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. March marks the beginning of spring, and warmer temperatures means you can do more outside. Hang your clothes outside to dry instead of using the dryer. Not only will you save electricity, but your clothes will get that fresh outdoor scent. It's also a great time to walk or bike to destinations that are close by instead of driving. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Welcome back to the Graybar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
I think it's indicative of why this team is successful. It's a selfless group willing to work for each other.
And
it's
on
over.
the short tap on the corner, it's done. for the first time ever, an MLS expansion franchise has started 4-0-0.
Not only that, they are the only team in Major League Soccer at 4-0. St. Louis City SC makes history with a 3-0 win over San Jose last night at City Park in downtown St. Louis. Tom Ackerman coming to you from Jupiter, Florida, the home of the St. Louis Cardinals in spring training. Let's link up with the sporting director of City, Lutz Pfannenstiel, joining us again on this Sunday morning. Good morning, Lutz.
Good morning.
How's everything with you? Feeling good? 4-0. What a performance yesterday by your team once again.
Yeah, it's very sunny this morning. Also a little bit sunny in my head, to be honest. Yeah, definitely. I think the record is one thing. I mean, obviously that's great. We made history, and that's something which will be in the record books, hopefully for a very long time. But I do look at this game a little bit different because yesterday I thought when it came to our principles, when it came to our playing style, that would, you and me were talking now for a long time. I think you saw that yesterday really executed very, very well. So we played yesterday for 95 minutes, exactly the style we wanted to play. We made it really difficult for San Jose to play their game. And at the end of the day, we got a really, really highly deserved win yesterday.
Here's how you started the game yesterday in terms of scoring. 34th minutes.
It's from the right flank that City's putting this together. Great combo through the middle. Klaus and now Leuven. Loose into the San Jose end. He will bump it off to Nelson. Left foot cross. What's Jalkidi? Bouncy ball loose. Inside. It's flicked. It's in. Oh, baby. City leads.
What a goal there, and another big moment for Giacchini as he finds the back of the net in the 34th minute to open the scoring for City. How did you see this one, Lutz?
Yeah, it took us around 10 minutes to get into the game. Then we were pretty dominant. We created chances, and I think it was a good moment, like just after the half an hour mark to actually score that goal to give us a little bit of even more confidence with the ball. Yeah, I was very happy for Giacchini to actually have his first goal under the belt this season, because also the first game when he played against Charlotte, he did really, really well. It's our attack is not just Klaus. We have a few guys who can score. We spread our goals around through the whole squad. And that is a very important quality if you want to keep on winning games.
It was actually Giacchini who had the game-winning assist in the opening game against Austin to Klaus. And as you mentioned, he gets that goal finally in this one. And then late in the first half, this happened.
Giacchini. Oh, nice little bump pass to Klaus out of the middle. João Klaus looking to go toward the box, bursting through. Klaus still with it. Right foot. Oh, baby! João Klaus! Cramming things home like a hoarder family in a second-hand RV!
Klaus scores for the third time in 4 games this season. He leads the team in scoring. He has a goal contribution in all 4 of City's games this season. What a goal, what a moment. You're 2-0 at the break, Lutz.
Yeah, perfect moment just before halftime, and Klaus worked hard already before that goal. He's so difficult to defend. You can sometimes see it in the faces of the defenders. They hate to play against him. And he muscled his way through. It was kind of an unassisted goal. He got the ball just after halfway line and took on a few players. Sometimes you have to force your way through. That's what he did. And then also the finish, you somehow had the feeling that he wanted it more than the 4 or 5 San Jose players around him. And that was, for us, a really important moment, because scoring that goal just before halftime, it gives our momentum a huge push. And for the opposition team, they somehow going really, really worried into the locker rooms. And that's exactly what happened.
So they came out in the second half, San Jose, trying to figure out a way to score. Unfortunately for them, they have to do it with Roman Bürki as the goalkeeper, the captain coming through.
In by Nelson, and City gets a turnover, but Espinosa yanks it right back into the box. Centralization. Oh, Rowan Berkey, a huge save, second chance, way out of play. Oh, Roman Berkey pours some clam chowder in their gas tank, shuts it down right on the doorstep, and that's why we love him here in St. Louis.
The call from Joey Zanaboni, Dale Schilly alongside on Y98 FM. Roman Berkey eventually, Lutz, goes on to his first and the club's first MLS shutout. What a performance by Berkey.
Yeah, that 61st minute was, a very decisive moment because 2-0 up and we're doing really well. But then we make that one mistake and Espinosa goes through 3 of our players. He puts it back into the box, and then it was a great save. It was an important save. It was a big save, which actually didn't open the game back up. Would have been 2-1, completely different ball game. He made that big save, and yeah, I think this is. It was also a little bit of a save, I would say, of an experienced goalkeeper, because that is the moment when sometimes the goalkeeper gambles on a shot like that, very close in the box. He focused on the ball. He made the big save. The rebound went into the row number 36, and we had a lucky escape.
What a moment. It's 2-0, and then just 7 minutes later, this.
Gathered by Espinosa.
Great defending.
City getting it away. Lubin, his shot runs into Mensah. Second chance by Vasilev, stopped as well.
Good choice.
Ostrak gathers loose. It's in there! And that's in the back of the cage!
And that sets him off at City Park. Tomas Ostrak in the 68th minute. He had a left-footed shot from outside the box to the bottom left corner. Lutz, you're up 3-0, and the party is on in St. Louis. There's still work to do, but boy, those fans are having fun at that point.
Yeah, Ostrak came on early in the second half, and he's such a gifted player. I think it was very important for his confidence to get that goal. He had shortly after another big chance where the goalkeeper had a brilliant save, but that goal was very important. Number one, we put the lid on the top. I mean, that was out of the reach for San Jose, and of course for Ostrak personally, which will play a big role in the future of the club. It was an important goal, his first goal of the season. Very, very well done by Thomas.
What a win. 3-0. We mentioned all the history making. The expansion team first to go 4-0, first team in MLS to be 4-0, first shutout, first this, first that. I mean, it's really fun. But at some point, we know you're an expansion team and you get that tag on you. But right now, you're first place team. And on top of that, I wonder at what point, this is for you to be concerned about, but also other teams, is how do they adapt to City? You're kind of changing the narrative here. It was, how does City figure out MLS? Well, maybe this is the new kid on the block that other teams have to start to figure out. And your style is pretty well established at this point after 4 games.
Yeah, I think, first of all, I think, we need to keep our feet on the ground. We need to be focused on the next games. We need to be humble. Yes, great start. I take nothing away from anybody here. That's unbelievable, unexpected, even a little bit sensational. But, again, 4 games, a season is 34 games. So I'm pretty much a perfectionist there. And I don't really, I know I'm too long in the game to care too much about that right now. I think we need to look into the future and really take it game to game. But you're definitely right that, our style causes some issues for the other teams. We saw it now already in preseason, but also in the first 4 competitive games. And soon we, having that good start, of course, the downside is that we won't be the underdog anymore. They see us more now as a team they want to beat, and they're trying to hunt us, which is fine. I think for us, to be honest, Tommy, makes no difference because we're playing after our principles, we're playing after our style. So it doesn't matter if teams underestimate you or overestimate you. We still will do what we're doing. And that is the way we play. And you saw that yesterday again. We got our first clean sheet, which was important. We had to cover Tim Parker, which is a very, very important play in our setup. We throw in Lucas Bartlett, which we signed a few weeks ago after he had a good trial here. and he comes in and he plays a really, really good game. And every player who comes from the bench, he gives 100%. The players who are coming on doing just as well as the players who were on. So I talk a lot about the unit, about the team. That is what I think you could feel from the stands yesterday, that there is not 11 on the players on the field, 11 friends on the field who do well. There is 16, 20, 23 players in the squad who work together for one big goal. And that is doing well for the city of St. Louis, doing well for our ownership, doing well for our fans. This is what we want to do, and it worked well yesterday. And I was really impressed with our game yesterday.
That's very well said, and what a moment, a clean sheet, and what a great outlook there as you do have a match coming up. How close is Tim Parker? What's the status on him?
He was tight, and it's nothing where we have to worry too much. So we have a look at it this week, and hopefully he will be ready for the next game. But again, we shouldn't. That's something. If it takes longer, it takes longer. If he's fit next week, he's fit. We just have to look into the medical department there and let them do their job. And if he misses a game, we have players who can fill in for him, and that's what we're having in all positions. So hopefully, though, he will be back next week.
Next up, you have Real Salt Lake, America First Field in Salt Lake City, as City goes back on the road on Saturday with a record of 4-0, 12 points. What a story this has become. Lutz Pfannenstiel, sporting director for City, thank you so much. We love these visits on KMOX.
Thank you so much. Talk to you next week.
Great. Yes, sir. Great to have you. That's fun. It is. We're all feeling it down here in Florida. I assure you of that. The man who runs the baseball operations side of things with the St. Louis Cardinals is John Mozeliak. We're going to visit with him outside the Cardinals clubhouse up next. And then you will hear from Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol as he visits with reporters here in Jupiter prior to the game as the Cardinals play the Mets. Our broadcast begins at noon with a 12:10 first pitch from Clover Park in Port St. Lucie, Florida. I'm Tom Ackerman in Jupiter. Sports on a Sunday Morning continues right after this.
KMOX Enter Service Weekend, sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
I feel like I should call him.
Why would you call him now? Everything's working beautifully.
Jerry Kelly is St. Louis's favorite heating and cooling company. Mine too. They make me happy and comfortable every day. That deserves a phone call once in a while.
Jerry Kelly's your favorite because they're fast.
They're my favorite because they got it going on.
Nope. They're our favorite because they're good. Since they fixed it, it has stayed fixed.
I still feel like I should call.
Why don't you just visit
JerryKelly.com? Did you know that how happy you are could be related to how well you hear? According to the Better Health Institute, research shows that unaddressed hearing loss is associated with depression. Studies also show that people with hearing loss who use hearing aids often have fewer depressive symptoms, they have greater social engagement, and have improved quality of life. Therefore, having your hearing tested by an experienced audiologist is extremely important. Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I recommend you contact Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler is very approachable. She has a doctorate in audiology from the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana. She carries the best performing hearing aids, and Dr. Bosler is an expert on the latest technology. Make an appointment today at one of Dr. Colleen Bosler's 3 St. Louis area offices, 636-441-7470, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
For a limited time only, First Community is offering an 18-month certificate of deposit on new money that pays a 4.75% annual percentage yield. Unlike some high-risk investments, CDs are fully insured to keep your savings safe, and the return on your investment is guaranteed. Requires a $500 minimum deposit to open and 100% of funds as new funds not currently on deposit at First Community. Call 1-800-767-8880 for terms and conditions. Federally insured by NCUA.
Over 30 years ago, it was that can-do spirit which helped the founder of Reinhold Flooring start the business, installing Reinhold quality carpet and beautiful flooring himself. Now, Reinhold Flooring is still family-owned and operated and winning St. Louis Magazine's Best Flooring Store 2 years in a row. With Reinhold Flooring, it's not not about the sale, it's about the amazing floor to perfectly match your house and your life. Customer driven since day one. Visit ReinholdFlooring.com. With so many ideas you can do it with a can-do crew at Reinhold Flooring. ReinholdFlooring.com.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back. Sports on a Sunday morning continues. A visit with, this is great. We get to do this in person. We do it on the phone every Sunday at 11:30. He's always generous with his time. The president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, is with us. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, happy to be here, Tommy. But remember, pre-pandemic, we did a lot more in person. So I think we sort of all evolved from the post-pandemic on how we do interviews and so forth. But yeah, it's great. We have a beautiful morning here on a Sunday, and looking forward to a nice day of baseball.
It's great to be with you. The Cardinals are in Port St. Lucie today, taking on the Mets. Let's start with yesterday. How about Matthew Liberatore? Comes out, fires 5 innings. I know you've had some high hopes with him. That's about as good as we've seen.
Yeah, he pitched really well yesterday, and it's great to see. Like, what you want to see guys doing right now is sort of beginning to sort of peak as they prepare for the season. So, I think a lot of times we come down here, we watch games when things don't go right, we hide behind, they're just working on something. And, it's nice to see guys actually have some success and do some things. And the one takeaway I have from this camp really has been when you watch so many of our younger players and how they're contributing, it's been fun to watch. And, clearly our stars are at the WBC. We're getting a few of them back as teams are starting to bounce out of that tournament. But I think reality is like, as a St. Louis Cardinal fan or someone that works for the team, we've gotten to see a lot of good young players play and really keep it competitive. And I was sort of joking with Gary LaRocque, he's going to have a lot of pressure now because AAA should be good.
Yeah, Memphis is going to be good. Memphis will have a good rotation. Memphis is going to have a solid lineup. And really, you can look at almost any position right now. I mean, is there one area of depth that you're most proud of right now? I guess I would start with catcher. You seem very deep at catcher to start.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, obviously when you go out and sign a Wilson Contreras, you didn't feel like you had the heir apparent coming for that. But I will say what you're seeing from some of our younger catchers has been impressive in this camp, and that's certainly encouraging. I think, look, right now the biggest competition is what's going to happen with left-hand relief. Yeah. And you look at all these guys that are competing for these spots, and, they're really throwing the ball well. And so that part of the depth is great. There's a lot of flexibility in this group, meaning some aren't on the roster, some have options. So that's good news for us. So when you just talk about like sort of bullpen relief, we have that. We're going to have starting pitching depth, I think, just based on where we are today. Now, things change. People get hurt, but, that part's pretty exciting too. And I think, there's obviously a lot of competition going on right now in that outfield. And so obviously Jordan Walker's name is always going to be talked about between now and the time we open. But, when you watch what he's been able to do in this camp, it's been eye-opening.
Yeah, I've heard you being asked that many times. I've brought it up many times. And the fact of the matter is it's still March 19th. There is still some time to watch everything. And you have a couple of outfielders who haven't even been able to play in the Grapefruit League for a while.
Yeah, I think that's probably the toughest part when you're really trying to say apples to apples. I mean, obviously, you look at what Lars Nootbaar did. He obviously had a lot of success for the Japanese team. You think about Tyler O'Neill, and he played really well for Team Canada. And, unfortunately, he was a little under the weather the last couple of days, so trying to get him back into the lineup has been a little bit of a struggle. So I think when you look at sort of where we are today, as you point out, we're at March 19th, but opening day is coming. It's coming quick. And you think about where we are exactly 1 week from today, we're 30 minutes away from a first pitch down against Washington. We have 11 o'clock start that day. And so that's a little bit unique in that regard. And so there are going to be some real decisions that have to be made in the next 7 days.
Weighing all of that, there are so many different factors, aren't there? One of them, experience with your club and familiarity. If you know a pitcher, how much does that factor in to an ultimate decision?
I do think if you're referring more to the catching role, if you will, I do think that has some value. I mean, like someone that understands sort of the ebb and flow of what's entailed during the day, understanding how pitchers work, how they prepare, how they time things is important. So, I do think that has some value. Ultimately, I don't think we're going to be at a crossroads where that's a massive decision at that moment in time. The good news is really, to echo what you said, is there is some depth there. And so, as we get into the season, as the season unfolds, we certainly will be looking at how people are producing, what type of production are we getting out of individuals, and then determine if we do have to make some changes.
Mason Wynn is an exceptional talent, and you've told us that. We've heard that many times. Now we get to see him, and here's the perfect example of somebody that has had some time to show what he's going to be, and actually what he is right now.
Clearly a beneficiary of Tommy Edman playing for Korea, having Paul Goldschmidt slugged by a lower back tightness, and so what's he doing with it? He's making the most of it, and I think that's great. Yeah, had you and I been talking, like, where would he have been penciled in prior to camp? It may have looked one way, and now it's looking different. So I'm encouraged that these guys are taking advantage of it. And I think the greatest part of these types of camps, which are unique, and you try not to get frustrated because of the WBC and you don't have your team. So when you look at it from the glass is half full perspective, these younger players have gotten to really take a chance to step up where their career is at and change their career arc a little bit because of this opportunity.
Tonight, Adam Wainwright will start against Cuba. What do you look for when you see 50 getting out there on the mound for Team USA?
Well, of course, I wish him nothing but success, as well as Team USA. I think what you're hoping to see is, he's able to command the strike zone. Obviously, as long as he has the ability to spin it, he's usually can survive and have success. But, I think the key is for him to be able to get that pitch count up a little bit, because selfishly, I'm starting to think of where are we going to be in 10 to 12 days, and will he be ready to go out and throw 80 or 90 pitches when he's putting the birds on the bat back on his shoulder. So I think it's what I would hope to see out of this game is both he and Miles get to ramp up their pitch count, and ultimately one of them gets the win.
Now, Miles hasn't pitched a whole lot. I don't know what to make of that, really.
Well, they're not playing a ton, right? And I think when you're trying to get guys to commit to this, you're giving them commitments of, hey, we'll use you. And I would imagine managing that roster is sort of a challenge in that regard. But yeah, I hope he can get some innings, mostly importantly, following his pitch count, get that up today. So when you ask me what I hope for, that's what I hope out of both of them tonight.
The lefties, Montgomery and Matz, great to see them continuing to go. And I've talked about Jack with you. I still feel the same way through 3 starts. From what I can tell, physically and mentally, he seems like he's in a very good place. How do you see him?
Yeah, I would echo that. I think he is still working through a few things, but he has been able to land that slider when he needs to, and I think that's been sort of the difference maker between maybe the past couple years and the fact that he feels healthy. He's got a very good routine. And from that standpoint, I still believe, sky's the limit for this young man. So, if he can, stay healthy, be able to land that slider when he needs to, spot the fastball when he needs to, he's going to have success.
One other area would be DH and kind of, a utility role, trying to make a decision on that. And gosh, Taylor Motter had such a good day yesterday. I don't know. I don't know what the end will be there for him, because I see Burleson, I see Yepes, I see Gorman. I mean, you've got some depth.
Yeah, I think that maybe the easiest way to sum it up for our listeners right now is there are a lot of moving parts where I could imagine a lot of different outcomes. And so, a lot of this is going to be predicated on what we end up doing with the outfield. And then, there's that sort of trickle down effect, if you will, or downstream effect on who that may affect. So the good news is with this whole group, they're playing pretty well. So that's encouraging. I think the group gives us flexibility. So as you've heard me say before, it's not what you'll look like on March 28th. It's really how you finish. So, ultimately, I think we'll approach the roster that allows us to keep as many players as possible without having to do any outrights or anything like that, and give us the most flexibility moving forward.
Last thing, I get to ask this a lot, so I wanted to bring it back to you, and that is the new rules: pitch timer, defensive shifts, bigger bases. Just overall, now that you've seen a lot of it, what do you think?
Well, I think, speaking with my fan hat, I love it. I think pace of play has been great. I think the way things have been moving have been fun, and I don't hear any complaints in the clubhouse either. So net, I think it's a great thing. I think, when lights go on, when things count, I hope we still get the same type of return.
Appreciate your time very much.
All right. Thanks, Tommy.
John Mozeliak, sports on a Sunday morning outside the Cardinals clubhouse. We'll take a break. Cardinals are coming up at the top of the hour in Port St. Lucie against the Mets. Back after this.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. March means spring cleaning, so clean out your old, harsh cleaning products and replace them with products that are green certified. Better yet, make your own cleaning products using items like baking soda and vinegar. Also, get rid of hazardous materials such as paints, motor oil, and pharmaceuticals at proper disposal locations to keep them out of the water supply. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Kegs and Eggs, presented by Budweiser, is returning to downtown St. Louis to celebrate baseball's home opener, Thursday, March 30th between 10 and 2 p.m. Tickets on sale now and includes Budweiser and Anheuser-Busch products, specialty cocktails from Maker's Mark, food from Sugar Fire Smokehouse, live music, and more. Brought to you by Custom Coatings STL, Dirt Cheap, and Budweiser. Kegs and Eggs is back. Full details on the event page at KMOX.com.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold at Newbold Toyota. If you're worried about gas prices, Toyota has the most models of hybrid electrics in the industry. From the best-selling Camry to the best-selling RAV4, we've got it all. So come see us. That's Newbold Toyota in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldtoyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Can you hear it? There's no sound quite like it. The roar of every Tiger makes the difference at Faurot Field. In this league, there are no days off, so don't miss a minute of the action. Lock in your tickets today by calling 1-800-CAT-PAWS. M-I-Z.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports on a Sunday morning.
Goldschmidt swings and he hits a drive. He hits a slammer.
Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs.
Billikens win! Billikens win!
Once again, from the Stifel Financial Sports Studio, Tom Ackerman.
Welcome back, Sports on a Sunday morning on KMOX. Before we take you to Cardinal baseball, let's hear from Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol just a little while ago, visiting with reporters. First note out of the gate, the status of Paul DeJong, who is dealing with lower back tightness, but is starting to move around, take some swings in the cages, and it should be pretty close to returning. Here's Marmol.
And I'll get some feedback as to how that all played out. But our hope is he's in there playing defense and hitting in a couple of days.
Not to be a cynic, but first was a few days, now it's a couple of days. I mean, is this taking longer than you initially hoped, or is this?
No, initially they told us every bit of 5 before they even starts doing that. So, yeah, on schedule to some degree. I mean, my hope would have been like perfect world, he's in there tomorrow type thing. But if it's Tuesday, it's Tuesday, whatever it looks like. Yeah.
This is the first time Mater has played shortstop this camp, right?
First time this camp he's played short. He's played it in the past with other organizations, but I want to take a look at what that looks like in game.
Kind of an important start for Dakota today. Just not to put too much weight on one, but
no, you never want to put too much weight on just one. But it's his ability. We talked about it before. His ability to not gain in an area and lose in another, but like continue to put his full game together where he's pounding the zone with multiple pitches and staying out of deep counts and that type of thing. I don't want the strategy to be relying on a ground ball double play.
How do you, weigh the fact that he does have that ability to get that ground ball fairly consistently?
Yeah, it's just probability, right? Sometimes you're going to be behind it and sometimes you're not as far as positioned. where you can turn the double play. And then if you're not, then it's runners on first and third, nobody out. So, yes, it's good to have that ability to be on the ground as often as he's on the ground and get that ground ball double play, but it's also, I don't think, a sustainable strategy.
He grayed out Alex Burley's defense at first.
Yeah. I think he's playable there. I wouldn't have any issues with running him at first and letting him do his thing in a pinch or giving a guy a day off. Or I think he's actually done a pretty good job over there.
His ability to handle multiple spots, I mean, it's a must for a guy in this spot.
It is, and he's done a nice job of it. He works at it, and I'm totally comfortable with him being able to do that.
Could you speak to Gorman in that respect, how he's been able to be defensively, both at second and now at third?
He's looked really good at third. He's played a really nice third base. Obviously, that's natural position where we moved him to second, and he's done a nice job at second. He turns a really good double play. But at third, there's some just the overall first step and instincts and the angles he takes have been pretty impressive. Yeah.
What's been your observation of Pereira so far? I mean, obviously,
of who?
Pereira. I know you got him and kids in the lineup today. Obviously, you had a lot of experience with kids, but just Pereira so far.
He's done a really nice job. He's competed well. He's a quiet kid who just does his job, and he has shown extremely well defensively. He's done a nice job, with just calling a game. He's done well, and then offensively, he's put together some really good at-bats. Just some of the small things, like yesterday, that pop-up, standing on second, like there's just the little things of not giving anything away. But he's done a really nice job for us this camp.
Isn't his offense a concern this spring?
It hasn't been great, and it's something he's working at. But ideally, we would be a little further along in just how he feels from a timing standpoint, and overall swing standpoint. It's not a lack of effort. I mean, he's in there every morning, giving it a go, and that's why we're trying to get him in the DH and then catching, and just a little bit more opportunities to get in sync. It's helped Contreras have back-to-back days to just get the timing of everything, and our hope is that he's kind of in between right now and he can get his timing as well.
Even all the kids since 4 or 5 are all been singles too. That's just a little bit worrisome. That more extra base pop than that.
You don't like his ability to steal base?
I haven't seen him on base.
Me either.
Mitch is all about home runs now.
Yeah.
He's really come around.
You're off of the singles now, huh? He's really doubles and homers.
Stuff.
Well, singles are good as long as you can parlay them into doubles with some speed at first base.
Well, that's what I was saying. You don't think he can steal a base?
I think he could. But again, a single is only good if you get them maybe 10 out of 30, not 5 out of 30.
That's good math. I agree. Yes. I definitely agree with that.
Well, the skip from Lynn and bunted with a dollar run the other night. That was not a good play. You don't bunt on the road down the run.
But he bunted and also spurred a rally that helped him get a win.
I know that.
Where were you?
That was last week.
The next day.
Oh, we communicated about that one.
Yeah.
I was waiting.
Oh, we did. Yeah.
You sent him a Twitter DM.
Yeah, right.
Hey, non-today question.
Okay.
When you guys went to talk to Wilson,
Mhm.
how much did you? And maybe this is not true, but is there something added quality of bringing in a guy who knows and has felt what it takes to win a championship? Obviously, you guys have guys who know that too. But when you add a player who
I think it helps.
walked that,
Yeah.
do you see that in him?
Yes.
Is there a way to? What
Well,
happens?
a combination of like, what it. Two things come out. You know what it feels like, and the preparation it takes, and dedication, and the emotions that it takes to get there. And then once you've tasted it, there's this hunger to, I want that again. And that was very clear in how he articulated wanting to be here. He said, I want to go somewhere where I'm going to have a chance to do that. And I want to do it there. I've tasted it once and I want it again. So yeah, that plays into his hunger for getting there again. Definitely plays into it.
You guys have guys who have been a part of that, this uniform, who are now retired. Adam has done it. I mean, Albert has moving off. Yeah, it's important to have guys around who can explain to guys what that's like.
Yeah, and it is important, and we've had that for a while.
Yeah.
And our hope is at the end of this year, there'll be a full clubhouse. I can speak to it for a lot more years to go. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing when you can sit in that clubhouse and you're setting the expectation of what the team is capable of doing and what's possible, and then guys speak to what that's like. There's an advantage there.
Looking forward to a couple of days when some big names will be walking back through that door again.
Yeah. They're having a really good experience, and our hope is that they continue to do that, stay healthy, and then it'll be good to see them walk back in here and start competing together and headed towards what we want. But, yeah, look forward to that.
Do they know they're playing both ends of that day-night doubleheader?
I've let them know already, yeah.
Fun exchange there between the Hall of Famer Rick Hummel and manager Ollie Marmol in today's media briefing before the Cardinals take on the Mets. They are coming up next, the Cardinals and the Mets from Port St. Lucie, Florida, Clover Park. We'll have the broadcast for you on the way at noon with a 12:10 first pitch. I'm Tom Ackerman here in Jupiter. Thanks to all of our guests today, John Mozeliak, Lutz Pfannenstiel, Chris Jericho, Matt Zimmerman, Derek Gould. Our producer is Drew Young, and we are joining you from Jupiter, Florida, once again, starting tomorrow morning on Total Information AM. If you want to listen to this entire podcast, Sports on a Sunday Morning on KMOX, just go to KMOX.com. It'll all be there for you. Thanks for joining us. Cardinal Baseball is next on KMOX. This is Tom Ackerman. McKelvey Homes is recognized for being in the top 5 companies in their industry for the past 3 years. They're also known for their philanthropy. And in their 125th anniversary, founded in 1898, McKelvey is donating